The doors of impossibility are locked only from the inside. Today, I will show you the keys that have been in your possession all along. You will discover why the most successful individuals in history possessed one common trait that separated them from the masses. You will learn the precise mental formula that transforms ordinary minds into unstoppable forces of achievement. And by the end of our time together, you will possess the unshakable conviction that every dream you have ever harbored is not only possible, but inevitable. The world is divided into two classes of people, those who believe in the impossible and those who accept the impossible. The first group writes history. The second group reads about it. Which group claims you today? Your mind is the most powerful force in the universe, yet most people treat it like a broken tool. They accept limitations that exist nowhere but in their own thinking. They surrender to circumstances that are nothing more than temporary conditions. They bow to obstacles that are merely stepping stones, disguised as barriers. Listen carefully. There is no such thing as an impossible goal. There are only goals that require more faith, more persistence, and more strategic thinking than you have previously applied. The moment you accept this truth, you join the ranks of the exceptional. Consider this scenario. A person dreams of building a business empire, but dismisses the idea because they lack capital, connections, or experience. This person has already failed before they began. They have allowed their present circumstances to define their future possibilities. They have forgotten that every great fortune began with a single thought backed by unwavering faith. Now consider another person faced with identical circumstances. This person sees their lack of capital as motivation to become resourceful. They view their absence of connections as an opportunity to build valuable relationships. They embrace their inexperience as a clean slate upon which to write their own rules. This person understands that circumstances are temporary, but the decision to succeed is permanent. The difference between these two individuals is not talent, luck, or opportunity. The difference is their relationship with possibility itself. The first person sees limitations where the second sees launching points. The first person sees problems where the second sees solutions waiting to be discovered. You must understand this fundamental truth. Your mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. When you consistently visualize your goals as already achieved, your subconscious mind accepts this as reality and begins to align your actions, decisions, and opportunities with this new truth. The most successful people in history were not the most talented or the most privileged. They were the ones who refused to accept the word impossible. They were the ones who understood that every achievement begins with a decision to believe in what others consider unattainable. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before perfecting the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he replied that he had not failed, but had found 1,000 ways that did not work. This is the mindset of infinite possibilities. This is the thinking that transforms obstacles into opportunities and defeats into temporary detours. Your first assignment is this: identify one goal that you have abandoned because you believed it was impossible. Write it down. Study it. Ask yourself not whether it is possible, but what steps would make it inevitable. This shift in questioning will reveal pathways that were always there, but hidden by your own limiting belief. In the arena of achievement, doubt is your greatest enemy. It is the silent assassin that destroys more dreams than failure ever could. While failure teaches and strengthens, doubt paralyzes and weakens. Yet most people invite doubt into their minds like an honored guest and wonder why their dreams wither and die. You must build a fortress of unshakable conviction around your goals. This fortress is not built with stone and mortar, but with daily practices that strengthen your faith and weaken your doubts. Every morning, you must feed your conviction. Every evening, you must starve your doubts. Here is how doubt operates. It whispers reasonable-sounding arguments about why your goals are unrealistic. It presents logical evidence of why others have failed. It reminds you of your past mistakes and current limitations. It disguises itself as wisdom and caution when it is actually fear wearing a mask of respectability. Conviction operates differently. It does not argue with doubt, but simply overwhelms it with focused intensity. It does not seek permission from circumstances, but creates its own reality through persistent action. It does not depend on external validation, but generates its own momentum through unwavering purpose. Picture this: you are climbing a mountain in a fierce storm. The wind howls, the rain beats against your face, and every step is a struggle. You have two choices. You can focus on the storm and become paralyzed by its power, or you can focus on the summit and draw strength from your vision of reaching it. The storm exists in both scenarios, but your experience of it depends entirely on where you direct your attention. Your goals exist in a similar environment. There will always be storms of criticism, setbacks, and obstacles. The question is not whether you will face these storms, but whether you will let them define your journey or merely describe your temporary conditions. The fortress of unshakable conviction is built with three materials: definite purpose, burning desire, and absolute faith. Definite purpose gives you direction when the path is unclear. Burning desire gives you fuel when your energy is depleted. Absolute faith gives you power when your circumstances suggest weakness. You must understand that conviction is not a feeling, but a decision. It is not something you wait to feel, but something you choose to embody. Every day, you must decide to believe in your goals with the same certainty that you believe the sun will rise tomorrow. When Napoleon planned his conquest of Europe, he did not consult his limitations. He did not survey his obstacles and adjust his goals accordingly. He decided what he would achieve and then arranged his actions to match his decision. This is the power of unshakable conviction. This is the mindset that turns ordinary individuals into extraordinary forces of achievement. Your conviction must be so strong that it becomes contagious. When you speak of your goals, others should feel the power of your certainty. When you face obstacles, Others should witness the strength of your determination when you encounter setbacks. Others should see the resilience of your faith. The weak are enslaved by their emotions. The strong are empowered by their detachment. This is not the detachment of indifference, but the detachment of strategic control. It is the ability to remain calm in chaos, focused in confusion, and purposeful in the face of opposition. Most people are emotional reactors. They allow their feelings to dictate their decisions. They permit their moods to determine their actions. They surrender their power to whoever or whatever can trigger their emotional responses. This is the pathway to mediocrity and the guarantee of unfulfilled potential. You must become an emotional architect. You must learn to observe your emotions without being controlled by them. You must develop the ability to feel deeply while thinking clearly. You must master the art of passionate pursuit combined with strategic detachment. Consider this truth. Every great achievement requires the ability to work through periods of discouragement, criticism, and apparent failure. Those who succeed are not those who never feel these emotions, but those who refuse to let these emotions control their actions. They feel the discouragement but continue to work. They hear the criticism but remain focused on their goals. They experience the failure but persist in their efforts. Strategic detachment is your shield against the emotional warfare that others will wage against your dreams. When someone criticizes your goals, you do not need to defend them. When someone questions your methods, you do not need to justify them. When someone predicts your failure, you do not need to argue with them. You simply continue your work with unshakable focus. This detachment extends to your relationship with outcome. While you must be committed to your goals, you cannot be attached to the timeline or the specific pathway. You must be willing to adjust your methods while maintaining your direction. You must be flexible in your approach while remaining rigid in your determination. Imagine you are a master chess player. You have a strategy for winning the game, but you do not become emotional about individual moves. When your opponent captures one of your pieces, you do not rage or despair. You simply adjust your strategy and continue toward your ultimate objective. This is the mindset of strategic detachment. The same principle applies to your goals. You will face setbacks, criticism, and temporary defeats. These are not signs that you should abandon your objectives, but signals that you should adjust your tactics while maintaining your strategic focus. Every setback is information. Every criticism is feedback. Every defeat is education. Your emotional reactions are data, not directives. They tell you what is happening inside your mind, but they do not have the authority to determine your actions. You are the commander of your emotional army, not its prisoner. You can acknowledge your feelings without obeying them. You can experience emotions without being experienced by them. In a world that rewards noise, silence becomes a superpower. Most people feel compelled to announce their plans, defend their decisions, and seek approval for their actions. They scatter their energy through endless explanations and dilute their power through constant justification. They've mistaked activity for achievement and noise for progress. You must learn the strategic power of silence. Your goals are not public entertainment. Your methods are not open for democratic vote. Your timeline is not subject to external approval. The energy you spend explaining your vision to doubters is energy stolen from building your vision into reality. Silence is not secrecy born of shame, but selectivity born of wisdom. You share your dreams with those who can help you achieve them and keep them from those who would discourage you from pursuing them. You speak your plans to those who have the power to support them and protect them from those who have the inclination to sabotage them. Consider this scenario. You decide to start a business. You can take one of two approaches. First, you can announce your plans to everyone you know, seeking their opinions and validation. You will spend countless hours explaining your vision, defending your strategy, and managing other people's doubts. You will dilute your focus and scatter your energy across 100 different conversations. Alternatively, you can work in strategic silence. You can research your market, develop your product, and build your business while keeping your plans to yourself. You can focus all your energy on execution rather than explanation. You can let your results speak louder than your words ever could. The second approach is the path of the master. While others are talking about their dreams, you are building yours. While others are seeking permission, you are taking action. While others are explaining their plans, you are executing your strategies. Silence also protects your goals from the negative energy of doubters and critics. Every time you share your dreams with someone who responds with skepticism or discouragement, you invite their doubt into your mental space. Their negativity becomes a weight you must carry. Their limitations become barriers you must overcome. But when you work in silence, you create a protective bubble around your goals. You shield them from the toxic energy of those who have given up on their own dreams. You preserve the purity of your vision and the power of your conviction. This does not mean you should never seek advice or guidance. It means you should be selective about whom you trust with your dreams. Share your goals with mentors who can guide you, partners who can support you, and advisors who can help you. But protect them from critics who can only discourage you and doubters who can only weaken your resolve. Remember this truth: the world is full of people who will tell you what you cannot do. They will offer you 1,000 reasons why your goals are unrealistic. They will share stories of others who have tried and failed. They will present evidence of why your situation is hopeless. These people are not your advisors. They are your obstacles. Your worth is not determined by the opinions of others. Your value is not subject to external validation. Your potential is not limited by the expectations of those around you. Yet most people live their lives as if their significance depends on the approval of others. They modify their dreams to fit other people's comfort zones. They shrink their goals to match other people's expectations. They abandon their authentic selves to gain the acceptance of those who would never understand their true potential. This is the pathway to a life of quiet desperation. This is the guarantee of unfulfilled potential. This is the choice to be ordinary when you were born to be extraordinary. You must declare your independence from the need for external validation. You must learn to generate your own approval, create your own confidence, and validate your own worth. You must become the source of your own motivation, rather than the victim of other people's opinions. This independence is not arrogance, but authenticity. It is not selfishness, but self-respect. It is not isolation, but integration of your true self with your chosen path. You can listen to advice without being controlled by it. You can consider criticism without being crushed by it. You can value relationships without being enslaved by them. Consider the life of any great achiever. They all share one common characteristic. They refused to let other people's limitations become their own. They refused to let other people's fears become their reality. They refused to let other people's doubts become their truth. They understood that the price of achievement is the courage to stand alone when necessary. This does not mean you should ignore all feedback or reject all guidance. It means you should be the final authority on your own life. You should listen to wisdom, but make your own decisions. You should consider advice, but trust your own judgment. You should value relationships, but never sacrifice your authentic self to maintain them. Your independence protocol consists of three elements: self-reliance, self-validation, and self-direction. Self-reliance means you do not depend on others for your emotional well-being. Self-validation means you do not require external approval to feel worthy. Self-direction means you do not need permission from others to pursue your goals. Picture this. You are offered a promotion that would provide financial security, but would require you to abandon your entrepreneurial dreams. Everyone around you advises you to take the promotion. They present logical arguments about security and responsibility. They question the wisdom of risking a sure thing for an uncertain venture. If you are dependent on external validation, you will likely take the promotion and spend the rest of your life wondering what might have been. If you are truly independent, you will make your decision based on your own values and vision, regardless of what others think you should do. Independence is not a one-time declaration, but a daily practice. Every day, you must choose to value your own opinion above the opinions of others. Every day, you must choose to trust your own judgment above the judgment of the crowd. Every day, you must choose to follow your own path rather than the path that others have chosen for you. Life is not a gentle journey of steady progress toward your goals. It is a battlefield where your dreams are constantly under attack from circumstances, critics, and your own doubts. The question is not whether you will face adversity, but whether you will let adversity defeat you or define you. Resilience is not the ability to avoid failure, but the ability to transform failure into fuel for future success. It is not the absence of setbacks, but the presence of comeback power. It is not the immunity to criticism, but the immunity to being paralyzed by criticism. Most people treat failure as a verdict when it is actually evidence. They see setbacks as stop signs when they are actually detour signs. They interpret criticism as truth when it is actually opinion. They allow temporary defeats to become permanent surrenders. You must develop a different relationship with adversity. You must learn to see obstacles as opportunities, setbacks as setups, and failures as feedback. You must understand that every great achievement is built on a foundation of temporary defeats that were transformed into permanent lessons. The resilience formula consists of 4 elements: perspective, persistence, adaptation, and growth. Perspective helps you see temporary setbacks as permanent defeats. Persistence helps you continue when others would quit. Adaptation helps you adjust your methods when your current approach is not working. Growth helps you become stronger through every experience. Consider this truth. Every failure contains the seeds of equivalent success. Every setback teaches you something that success alone could never teach. Every criticism reveals something about your approach that praise alone could never reveal. Every obstacle forces you to develop strength that comfort alone could never develop. When Henry Ford's first automobile company failed, he did not interpret this as evidence that he was not meant to be in the automobile business. He saw it as education about what did not work and motivation to find what would work. When Thomas Edison's laboratory burned down, destroying years of work, he did not see it as a tragedy, but as an opportunity to rebuild better than before. This is the mindset of resilience. This is the thinking that transforms defeats into victories and obstacles into opportunities. This is the perspective that separates those who achieve greatness from those who achieve mediocrity. Your resilience must be greater than your obstacles. Your persistence must be stronger than your setback. Your determination must be more powerful than your defeats. You must become unbreakable in your commitments to your goals and unstoppable in your pursuit of them. Success is not a destination, but a direction. It is not a single achievement, but a series of achievements that build upon each other. It is not a moment of triumph, but a momentum of triumph that carries you from victory to victory. Most people treat success as if it were a lottery ticket. They wait for the right opportunity, the perfect moment, or the lucky break. They believe that success is something that happens to them rather than something they create. They expect their big break to come from outside themselves rather than from inside their own efforts. You must understand that success is a momentum machine that you must build and maintain. Every small victory creates energy for the next victory. Every completed goal creates confidence for the next goal. Every achieved milestone creates momentum for the next milestone. The momentum machine operates on a simple principle. Action creates results. Results create confidence. Confidence creates more action. And more action creates better results. This is the upward spiral of success. This is the compound effect of consistent effort applied toward clearly defined goals. But momentum can work for you or against you. When you are moving forward, every action becomes easier. When you are moving backward, every action becomes harder. When you are building momentum, obstacles become stepping stones. When you are losing momentum, stepping stones become obstacles. This is why you must protect your momentum with the same intensity that you protect your goals. You must avoid the momentum killers, procrastination, perfectionism, and paralysis. You must embrace the momentum builders, action, consistency, and progress. Consider this scenario: you decide to write a book. You can approach this goal in two ways. First, you can wait for the perfect idea, the perfect time, and the perfect conditions. You can spend months planning, researching, and preparing. You can talk about your book, but never actually write it. You can think about writing, but never actually begin. Alternatively, you can start writing immediately. You can write for 30 minutes every morning, regardless of whether you feel inspired. You can commit to writing one page every day, regardless of whether it is perfect. You can focus on progress rather than perfection, and completion rather than comparison. The second approach builds momentum, while the first approach kills it. The second approach creates results, while the first approach creates excuses. The second approach leads to achievement, while the first approach leads to regret. Your momentum machine requires three fuels: consistent action, measurable progress, and celebrated victories. Consistent action creates the foundation of momentum. Measurable progress creates the evidence of momentum. Celebrated victories create the emotion of momentum. You must take some action toward your goals every single day. It does not matter how small the action is. It does not matter how insignificant it seems. What matters is that you maintain the momentum of forward movement. What matters is that you refuse to let a single day pass without making some progress toward your objectives. Excellence is not an accident, but the result of deliberate practice applied consistently over time. Mastery is not a destination, but a journey of continuous improvement. Achievement is not a stroke of luck, but the outcome of strategic effort combined with unwavering commitment. Most people approach their goals with an amateur mindset. They expect quick results with minimal effort. They want maximum reward with minimum investment. They believe that success should be easy and failure should be avoided. They treat their goals as hobbies rather than as serious pursuits worthy of their complete dedication. You must approach your goals with a master's mindset. You must commit to the process of continuous improvement. You must embrace the discipline of deliberate practice. You must understand that mastery is not achieved through wishful thinking, but through consistent effort applied intelligently over time. The mastery mindset consists of 4 elements: commitment to excellence, dedication to improvement, acceptance of the process, and patience with progress. Commitment to excellence means you refuse to accept mediocrity in any area related to your goals. Dedication to improvement means you constantly seek ways to enhance your skills and knowledge. Acceptance of the process means you embrace the journey rather than focusing solely on the destination. Patience with progress means you understand that significant achievements require significant time. Consider the career of any master in any field. They all share certain characteristics. They outwork their competition. They outlearn their peers. They outlast their obstacles. And they outgrow their limitations. They understand that mastery is not a one-time achievement, but a lifelong commitment. They know that the price of excellence is the willingness to do what others are not willing to do. When Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team, he did not accept this as evidence that he was not meant to be a basketball player. He saw it as motivation to work harder than anyone else. He understood that natural talent without dedicated effort is wasted potential, while dedicated effort without natural talent can create extraordinary results. This is the mastery mindset. This is the thinking that transforms ordinary individuals into extraordinary performers. This is the commitment that separates those who achieve greatness from those who achieve adequacy. Your mastery journey begins with a decision to become the best version of yourself in pursuit of your goals. It continues with a commitment to continuous learning, deliberate practice, and strategic improvement. It culminates in the achievement of results that others consider impossible, but you consider inevitable. The world is full of dreamers, but short of doers. The world is full of planners, but short of performers. The world is full of talkers, but short of achievers. The difference between success and failure is not in the quality of your dreams, but in the consistency of your execution. Ideas are worthless without implementation. Plans are meaningless without action. Goals are powerless without execution. You can have the most brilliant vision in the world, but if you do not translate that vision into consistent action, it remains nothing more than a beautiful fantasy. Most people are execution avoiders. They prefer to plan rather than perform. They would rather talk about their goals than work toward them. They substitute preparation for execution and mistake activity for achievement. They use perfection as an excuse for paralysis and use planning as a substitute for action. You must become an execution machine. You must learn to translate your ideas into actions, your plans into results, and your goals into achievements. You must understand that execution is not what you do after you finish planning, but what you do while you are planning. The execution imperative consists of three elements: bias toward action, focus on results, and commitment to completion. Bias toward action means you choose action over analysis when faced with uncertainty. Focus on results means you measure your progress by your outcomes, not by your efforts. Commitment to completion means you finish what you start, regardless of obstacles or setbacks. Consider this truth: the most successful people in the world are not necessarily the most talented or the most intelligent. They are the most consistent in their execution. They are the ones who show up every day, do the work, and persist through obstacles. They are the ones who understand that success is not a single act, but a series of acts performed consistently over time. When you study the habits of high achievers, you discover that they all share one common characteristic: they are relentless in their execution. They do not wait for perfect conditions to begin. They do not postpone action until they have eliminated all uncertainty. They do not delay execution until they have solved all problems. They understand that action clarifies thinking, execution reveals solutions, and results create momentum. They know that you cannot solve problems through thinking alone, but only through thinking combined with action. They realize that perfect plans executed poorly produce poor results, while imperfect plans executed consistently produce extraordinary results. Your execution must be swift, consistent, and relentless. You must develop the ability to move from decision to action without hesitation. You must learn to act on your instincts and adjust based on your results. You must understand that execution is not about perfection, but about progress. Your life is not just about what you achieve, but about what your achievements make possible for others. Your success is not just about what you gain, but about what you contribute. Your legacy is not just about what you accomplish, but about how your accomplishments inspire others to accomplish their own dreams. Most people think small because they live small. They focus on their limitations rather than their possibilities. They concentrate on their problems rather than their potential. They obsess over their obstacles rather than their opportunities. They live as if their actions affect only themselves, when the truth is that every achievement creates ripple effects that extend far beyond what they can imagine. You must think beyond yourself. You must understand that your success is not just for you, but for everyone who will be inspired by your example. Your achievements are not just personal victories, but proof that others can achieve their own victories. Your legacy is not just what you leave behind, but what you make possible for those who follow. The legacy principle consists of three elements: thinking beyond yourself, inspiring others through your example, and creating value that extends beyond your own life. Thinking beyond yourself means you consider the impact of your actions on others. Inspiring others through your example means you live in a way that demonstrates what is possible. Creating value that extends beyond your own life means you build something that will continue to benefit others long after you are gone. Consider the legacy of every great leader, innovator, and achiever in history. They all shared one common characteristic. They thought beyond their own immediate needs and desires. They understood that their actions would influence others. They knew that their achievements would create possibilities for future generations. When Walt Disney was building Disneyland, he was not just creating an amusement park. He was creating a place where families could create magical memories together. He was proving that imagination could be transformed into reality. He was demonstrating that impossible dreams could become possible achievements. This is the legacy principle in action. This is the thinking that transforms personal success into universal inspiration. This is the mindset that creates achievements that outlast the achiever and influence generations. Your legacy begins with your decision to pursue goals that are worthy of your potential. It continues with your commitment to excellence in the pursuit of those goals, it culminates in achievements that prove to others that they too can achieve what once seemed impossible. Faith is not religious sentiment, but psychological certainty. It is not wishful thinking, but unwavering conviction. It is not hoping for the best, but knowing that your goals are not just possible, but inevitable. It is the one ingredient that separates those who achieve extraordinary results from those who achieve ordinary results. Most people confuse faith with hope. Hope is passive while faith is active. Hope wishes for favorable outcomes, while faith creates favorable outcomes. Hope depends on external circumstances, while faith depends on internal conviction. Hope is a spectator, while faith is a participant. You must develop absolute faith in your ability to achieve your goals. This faith must be so strong that it becomes immune to external circumstances. It must be so deep that it cannot be shaken by temporary setback. It must be so complete that it transforms every obstacle into an opportunity and every setback into a setup for a comeback. Faith operates according to a simple principle. What you believe with absolute certainty, you will achieve with absolute persistence. When you have complete faith in your goals, you will take the actions necessary to achieve them. When you take consistent action toward your goals, you will create the results that validate your faith. But faith without action is merely wishful thinking. Action without faith is merely busy work. Faith combined with action creates miracles. Faith combined with persistence creates inevitability. Faith combined with strategic thinking creates unstoppable momentum toward your objectives. Consider this truth. Every great achievement in history began with someone who had absolute faith in what others considered impossible. The Wright brothers had faith that humans could fly when everyone else knew it was impossible. Henry Ford had faith that ordinary people could own automobiles when everyone else knew they were luxury items for the wealthy. Steve Jobs had faith that people wanted computers in their homes when everyone else knew computers belonged in offices. This is the faith factor in action. This is the psychological certainty that transforms impossible dreams into inevitable realities. This is the unwavering conviction that creates extraordinary achievements from ordinary circumstances. Your faith must be stronger than your doubts, more powerful than your fears, and more persistent than your obstacles. You must believe in your goals with the same certainty that you believe in the law of gravity. You must know that your success is not just possible, but inevitable. Not just probable, but guaranteed. You now possess the knowledge that has been shared by every great achiever throughout history. You understand the principles that transform ordinary individuals into extraordinary forces of achievement. You have been given the keys to unlock the doors of impossibility that have been locked only from the inside. The question is not whether these principles work. They have been proven by countless individuals who have achieved what others considered impossible. The question is whether you will work these principles. The question is whether you will apply this knowledge or merely appreciate it. Knowledge without application is worthless. Understanding without implementation is meaningless. Wisdom without action is powerless. You can know everything about success and still fail if you do not consistently apply what you know. You can understand every principle of achievement and still struggle if you do not persistently implement these principles. The Infinite Possibilities Protocol consists of 12 elements that you must integrate into your daily life. Infinite Mind Principle, unshakable conviction, strategic detachment, strategic silence, independence from external validation, resilience formula, momentum machine, mastery mindset, execution imperative, legacy principle, faith factor, and commitment to continuous application. These are not concepts to be understood, but tools to be used. They are not theories to be debated, but principles to be applied. They are not ideas to be discussed, but strategies to be implemented. Your success depends not on how well you understand these principles, but on how consistently you apply them. You must make a decision right now. You must choose between the comfort of mediocrity and the challenge of excellence. You must choose between the safety of conformity and the risk of achievement. You must choose between the certainty of staying where you are and the uncertainty of becoming who you are meant to be. This decision is not just about your goals, but about your identity. It is not just about what you want to achieve, but about who you want to become. It is not just about your future, but about your legacy. It is not just about your success, but about your significance. The world needs what you have to offer. The world needs your unique talents, your distinctive perspective, and your individual contribution. The world needs you to achieve your goals because your achievement will inspire others to achieve theirs. The world needs you to prove that impossible dreams can become inevitable realities. Your time is now. Your moment is here. Your opportunity is before you. You have been given everything you need to achieve everything you want. You have the knowledge, the principles, and the power. The only question is whether you will use them. The doors of impossibility are unlocked. The pathway to achievement is clear. The formula for success is in your hands. What you do with this knowledge will determine not just your future, but the future of everyone who will be inspired by your example. Remember this truth. You are not just pursuing your goals. You are pursuing your destiny. You are not just achieving your dreams. You are achieving your potential. You are not just creating your success. You are creating your legacy. The mindset of infinite possibilities is not just a way of thinking, but a way of being. It is not just a strategy for achievement, but a blueprint for significance. It is not just a path to success, but a pathway to greatness. Your infinite possibilities await. Your extraordinary life is calling. Your impossible dreams are becoming inevitable realities. The only question is whether you will answer the call. The time for excuses is over. The time for action is now. The time for infinite possibilities is here.